Today the topic is what you would call the horizontal property regime, otherwise known as an HPR. And so we're going to spend a few moments discussing what is an HPR because many people would like to know the answer to that question. My name is John Rochford and I'm here to be a resource for you when it comes to the HPR horizontal property regime in the state of Tennessee. Technically speaking, the term horizontal property regime is defined by Tennessee statute. It's a term referring to multiple ownership of property. And I can get even more technical for you, but let's get less technical. When I think of a horizontal property regime, I think of a condominium building with units that are stacked on top of each other horizontally. And some people associate this terminology even with large subdivisions called PUDs, or planned unit developments. We're talking about a statute that dates back to the year 1963. Stacked units in a building, that is what I think the legislature had in mind when it used this terminology back in 1963. Today it means far more than that, and in Nashville this terminology has come to refer to as tall and skinnies, or two homes on one lot. In Nashville, it is actually illegal to subdivide property in parcels of less than 5 acres without review and approval from the Metro Planning Commission. That process requires approval of various agencies such as stormwater, sewer, green space, etc., and it all means public hearings. Neighbors come out of the woodwork with the same line, "No more development in my neighborhood." The HPR process avoids all this red tape. If a lot is zoned two-family, for example, if it's zoned for a duplex, Metro Nashville will issue a building permit, allowing the builder to build 2 homes on one lot. If the builder records a document called a master deed to create a horizontal property regime, it's a matter of property rights. An attorney, an architect, and a signature of the property owner is all that's really required. Simplicity in formation along with speed, these are the main benefits to a horizontal property regime. If you have 40 people living on a single property, it makes sense to impose certain requirements that do not make as much sense with smaller developments. A homeowners association makes sense with 40 unit owners. Common elements, also called common space, they make sense with 40 unit owners. Such does not make as much sense when you're talking about 2 homes on a single lot. Yet, some of these antiquated requirements imposed by the statute still apply. There's also the question of who owns my lot. If you own a condominium, you likely do not own the dirt under your condo. It's owned by the homeowners association. Who owns the dirt under your house if you own a horizontal property regime? Who pays the taxes and who pays the insurance? The answer to these questions can sometimes be complicated. There are problems that arise when creating a horizontal property regime that necessitate the involvement of a real estate attorney. Tennessee law, in fact, requires the master deed to be approved and reviewed by an attorney before recording. Sometimes a lot is not large enough. One of my clients told me yesterday that he's under contract to purchase a lot for $700,000 upon which he intends to build a horizontal property regime, but the lot is 3 feet too short. What do you do under that scenario? I help my clients navigate these issues as they arise. Sometimes the services of a zoning attorney are needed. Sometimes contracts need to be renegotiated, and sometimes they need to be terminated. I regularly create horizontal property regimes for builders, developers, investors, and homeowners. I also frequently provide legal advice to individuals who would like to better understand this method of owning property in Tennessee. And in addition to horizontal property regimes as far as creating the master deed, there's other factors that have to be taken into consideration. You have to have an attorney who can actually create a homeowners association, which is usually a nonprofit corporation in Tennessee. I draft the homeowners association and create that particular corporation with the Tennessee Secretary of State, and there are bylaws that also have to be drafted. All of those things are services that I provide to my clients when creating a horizontal property regime. My name is John Rochford, and if you have any questions about horizontal property regimes in the state of Tennessee, give me a call for a free consultation.